water has gotten up to temperature a bit quicker than I thought. Actually, I'm gonna go turn this blower off. Let me show you what we got going on. All right, so last we checked our temperature, we were at about 138. Give or take. I hear sound coming out of my other device, so that means that's working. All right. I'm going to endeavor to answer your questions as I can throughout the day. But I will obviously be busy, and our kids are doing school right now, so I won't have time to drop everything and come check the phones. So I will be doing that as I can. I will also, try and put chapters in this later. Wonderful. Okay, so there's a lot going on, so you'll forgive me if I am a bit all over the place. But we're going to start the process. I'm going to walk you through what I have set up, and then we will get busy. A couple things. First of all, this is taking the life of an animal. This is very serious. It's like my least favorite day on the homestead, but tomorrow, the actual butchering day, is my most favorite. It's when we have roughly 9 months worth of effort culminate into a freezer full of good, healthy meat. Nature's pretty cruel. Animals don't have the life that we provide for them in nature. We take care of them, we feed them, they are safe, they are loved, they are fed, watered, all that stuff. And when they are dispatched, it is in the most humane way possible. That doesn't happen in nature. But be advised, that is the point of the video today, is to dispatch a pig, scald it, scrape it, and eviscerate it. I'm not going to show the dispatching process on the live stream. However, I do have my other rig set up. And what I'm going to do is actually film that, not show you here. And if you want to see the stun and stick method, I'm going to create a very, very brief, unlisted video. So if you want to see the stun and stick method, you have to send me an email requesting it. This is not something I'm just going to put up on YouTube for all sorts of reasons. I don't want people to stumble across it. I don't want to glorify anything. So if you want to see that, you email me. We're not going to show it today. Hey, Sean. Sean says howdy. So we are grateful to God for this animal. We're grateful for the opportunity to harvest it. We're grateful for the sustenance that he will provide. So let me show you what we got going on first. We have our scalding tank over there. That's up to about 138. We're waiting for about 145 to 155 degrees. We have our tractor here. We have our new rig set up so that we can hoist the pig up, obviously not to the rafters. And this is my butchering setup. So this is the hook that the animal will hang from. These are 2 custom knives that a friend of mine made. They're Cut K knives. You can find him on Etsy. I haven't used him yet. I'm very excited. I wanted to show you these 2 knives here because this one is the one I used to stick the first time. It's not long enough. You need a very long knife. I believe this is 9.5 inches long. And this is a bell scraper. This is what we're going to use to take off the skin and the first layer of the epidermis. We use a 22 long rifle, and I use the CCI Stinger. It is a 32 grain, and it comes out at 1,640 feet per second. And the reason I use that one is it has the absolute highest muzzle force coming out. And when you stun and stick a pig, the idea is to make an X between their eyes and their ears. And when you hit them with a 22, it does so much blunt force trauma that essentially it knocks the pig either unconscious or kills them immediately, and then you stick them. So the pig has no idea what happens. So our scalding tank is over here. We're going to check the temperature on that. Scalding is at least a 2-person job. So Mrs. Flannel will be joining us shortly. I'm going to put you down. We're going to check temperature. The blower that I use increases the temperature quickly. We're at 141, 142, 143. Perfect. Oh, something else too. I don't usually ask for super chats, but if you find some value in this and you have the means, would you consider sending us a super chat? And the reason I ask is we discovered that the good quality microphone only works on my wife's phone, which is what we're using. We are way far away from the house, so I actually had to purchase data to make sure that we could live stream this today and tomorrow. Wasn't a whole bunch of money, but it was something that we put out to make sure that we could get this up. If you have the means, and if you're so inclined, and if you find value, and if, we would appreciate it. If you can't, and you just enjoy it, that's fine too. We will carry on. It is worth the investment. So what's gonna happen next is the pig has been in there for about 24 hours. We're not gonna show him because it's kind of sad, but he has been in there about 24 hours, and the reason we do that is to make sure that the intestines, the guts, the bladders, and all that are as empty as possible, so we're less likely to have an accident when we're doing the butchering. So you're actually gonna have a little bit of dead air time as I take care of the dispatch part, and then we're gonna fire up the tractor. I won't be able to hear. As soon as the scalding process is over and we get him hung up, I will check back with you guys on the chat, and we'll go from there. You guys ready? All right. Here, I'll point you at Esther. See Esther back there? You'll probably hear the gunshot here in a second. That's okay. All right, here we go. Hi, buddy. Hi, buddy. Hi, no. Good job. Once he's done with his death throws, I'll show you. But when you shoot him in the forehead, okay, you don't want to aim too far down or too far back. There's kind of a slant in their forehead. You want to hit almost in line with their spine, okay? When you stick them, you find the sternal notch right here, and you go straight back in until you hit spine. And the idea is we're severing the top part of the aortic arch. All right, I turned this camera on 2 minutes ago, so the death throws were about a minute. And that's no problem. All right. Everything went well. It's a good kill, clean kill. Time to get him scalded. Let's move you so you can see what's going on. So you can see he's down right there. We're going to jump in the tractor, hook up to our cable here, clean him off and get him scalded. right, in many ways, this is the most dangerous part right here. This is the scalding. You can get burned doing this. We had to readjust where our cinch was because we want to back down lower around the ankle. You can see the cinch now is higher up on his ankle.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure she took it. I set it right down there. She was pushing it, and then it was gone.
Thank you guys for the super chat. Appreciate it. Thank you, David. You want me to do 145 or 155? Okay. Right at 144. Let's hit it with the blower. We have a strap laid underneath, and the idea for that is to agitate the pig while they're in there. And then we have a couple of 2x4s that we can kind of keep the pig submerged. So what she's going to do is help me. We're going to lift the pig up and set him in gently. This is the sketchy part, so be careful. Gotcha. guys are going to be our timer. 24 minutes. So about 2 minutes is the idea, but you also can reach down in there at about 2 minutes and start pulling hair and see if it comes off. You don't want him to sit on the bottom or her, but that's where the direct fire impingement is. Good. All right, we're good. Same thing coming out. All right. Show you how you know. We're going to take our bell scraper. That's how you know you got a good scald. It just all comes off like that. We're also going to keep some hot water with us.
But you see that clean tank? That's what we're aiming for.
We're going to get them on the rack and get them up. We're going to take off the cable and we're going to switch over to a hook. This is a commercial hook like that. Now, sometimes this is made for deer and such, okay? So the pig is a little, its hips aren't as wide, so sometimes you have to slit some of the skin to get this to fit, and I'll show you. I want to make sure you guys can see. So we're going to go through the heel and the Achilles. Okay, let's see. So right between the front bone here and the Achilles, take a long knife and you go right through, kind of wiggle it around. Don't cut too far backwards because you won't be able to, you'll cut right through it. Hook goes here, like that. Now this guy, he's pretty big. So I should be able to just go through. Hi, Esther. How are you? Are you having a good day? Get out. Out. You already took one of my knives. She took my stick knife, the one I stick the pig with. All right. And hook here. Now we're gonna take them up. Now I did set bamboo up for this, but I just set the ladder up instead, so we're gonna crank them. I especially rigged this up, mostly for you guys, so that we wouldn't have to hear that diesel run. So we could have a conversation while we were working. You gonna talk about it, Esther? I hear you. So if your scalding water isn't too hot because he's cooling off, I'm gonna go get a 5-gallon bucket of scalding water and just pour it back on him, and that keeps all hair follicles loose. If your water is too hot, you'll actually cook the hair in place. And that is no bueno. So this is a bell scraper, okay? You don't want to use it this way, okay? You use it with that flat part, this edge, pulling down. This makes it much, much better. So what you want is it's not just the hair, okay? You see that layer of skin? That's the epidermis. You want to take that epidermis right off with the hair. That's what gets it clean. If you're inclined to do things with the skin, cook the skin, this is the way you want to do it. You don't have to do it this way. Scalding and scraping is more work than skinning. Can you all hear me okay when I talk away from the mic? Is that a yes? I can move it in here if needed. Can you hear me okay when I talk this way? Anybody comment yet? You can hear you, but not as well. Okay. Let me try moving you this way. Get you a little closer. I'm worried inside the barn that the signal for the cell phone tower won't be as good. But you let me know if the signal quality falls, okay? So, you can do it in the back of your pickup truck and just skin them. You make the slit and you make the slits and you literally just peel all the skin off. But the FDA says that any bit of hair is to be treated like fecal matter. So when I'm butchering, I don't want fecal matter on my food. So I take this extra step and do this. This corner quick. I need more water. More water, Esther. More water. Hey, some fact just goes to get your water. If your temperature's too hot, what you'll end up doing is cooking the hair into the fat. You certainly don't want that. Esther ran off with my kill knife, the sticker. That's pretty much what I use it for. She licked the blood off of it while I was putting the gun on safe, and I turned around and it was gone. So I'm gonna have to go check her favorite hiding space, see if I can find it. All right, so this part is not coming off as well. So you see the hair's coming off the belly real well. It's not coming off over here so well. So probably we didn't get the backside hot enough. Yeah. Scalding is very tricky. It's a pain in the neck. So there's another option if your scald doesn't work. You can get a knife. You actually don't even have to have a belt scraper. You can use a tuna fish can. But your hands get tired that way. And you can just shave down the pig. Typically when I'm teaching folks or have people here help me, I let them use the bell scraper and I use the knife. The problem with using a knife is it gets dull really quickly. We didn't scald quite long enough. That's okay. We'll get it. I appreciate y'all coming out here today, being a part of me doing this. At some point in the future, I'd like to have people here and do actual hands-on workshops doing this type of thing. And this is good practice for me. Talking through the process instead of just being lost in my head while I do it. I do highly recommend, highly recommend, if at all possible, you find somebody doing this and you go actually put your hands on it. It's a very different experience in person. That's what I did. It's what makes me want to do these as a conference, because I got so much out of it doing it with somebody else for the first time. Somebody who'd done it multiple times. This is my 6th pig I've done by myself or with people who had as little experience or no experience as I do or did. I think this might be the first one I've ever done completely solo. As you can see, Mrs. Flannel was out here. And that is very useful. It's very hard to scald a pig by yourself. You just can't, well, I'm sure it can be done. It's just hard. All right. We're getting there. Now, like a lot of things in life, you do a lot of work on the front end to save yourself some headache on the back end. So we spend a lot of time removing hair because it's beneficial on the back end. Although he might get dunked again. We'll see how much we get off. You can re-scald if you haven't done it. If the temperature wasn't too high and you didn't cook the food or cook the hair in place, and the scald wasn't enough to get the hair off, you can scald again, and we might do that. We'll see. I hate all that noise of the tractor, though. I'm gonna go check the water temperature, see if we need to do it. See what we got over there. Okay. Sorry for the delay. We're gonna dunk them again. We're gonna get off as much as we can get off. And then we'll go dunk them. I don't think he got quite hot enough. Last time I did it too long and I cooked all the hair in. So I'm a little gun shy this time. Big shy. I don't know. That's okay. It's part of it. It's hard to know. Or you might just use this knife, which is working really well. Maybe we'll do that. Now, I've read books that said you can use like old razors for this and stuff like that. I don't know what kind of old razors they were using. I had zero success literally shaving the pig with an old razor, even after scalding. It did not work. This knife is working really well though, so maybe we'll just stick with that. This knife was made by my buddy Cutk, C-U-T-K-A-Y. You see the little stamp right there, maybe? Woo. Focus. There it is, Carcass. So he made these for me. You can find him on Etsy. He is also a fireman, and that is his side job. This is a very high carbon steel content on the front so that it holds an edge really well. I asked him to make me two. This one's actually the longer one that's for butchering. And then we made a short one that you'll see what it is good for here in a minute. Yeah, I don't think our scald was quite long enough. You can see the epidermis is still here. This darker layer right there that doesn't have the hair on it versus this area that has the hair on it. I just don't know, quite frankly, if it's worth all the effort to put him back in there, or if I should just kind of press ahead, because this knife is working much better. When the scald goes right, it probably only takes half an hour to do the scraping. When it goes wrong, well, we'll see. This is why a lot of people don't bother scalding. they just go ahead and skin it. But right now, my pig and all his meat is still perfectly enclosed. All of his stuff is not exposed to any ickiness. All that delicious meat and bacon and all that stuff is still in there, safe. When you start to skin, you are on the clock. Because you have opened up the cavity, if that makes any sense. So, I like to have a clean exterior as much as possible. There are some people who are very talented at skinning, and I'm sure they can do it very quickly, cleanly, and efficiently. I am not one of those people. This is a boy piggy, which makes some of what we're going to do a little different than if it was a girl piggy, as he has waste pipes that go through other places, so it makes it a little trickier. We'll show you all that. The girl has all her stuff in the same place. Oh, for those of you who are just joining us, I had to purchase some data because we are way away from our Wi-Fi and able to do this with the good microphone, which is currently going. And we don't normally ask for super chats, but I had to use my wife's phone because it's the only one that's currently working with our external microphone. So we are accepting super chats to help pay for the data. If you find value in this, and if you have the ability, if you don't have it, that's okay. I do this because I enjoy it, not for the money, but it does help cover some of the expenses. So if you're so inclined, we would appreciate it. If you can't, just hit a like, maybe share it with your friends, something like that. I will endeavor to go back and edit this and put chapters in it. So the 3 hours of scraping you can skip if you want to. I also took the day off of work to be here. The temperatures are right, so I was able to put in for it. We're gonna raise them up, see how much more we can get off the bottom, and then we'll see about dunking again. You want a pigtail, Esther? Huh? Here in a little bit. Oh, thank you, my brother. I appreciate that. Get some more hot water. I've also heard you can burn the hair off. I haven't tried that yet, but we might today. I've heard people take like pine straw, pine needles, wrap them up. Right now we're just putting a rope around the corner to keep them from swinging. I wonder if I have a towel in. Might have a towel. Maybe we'll try that. Yeah, it's stuck on there. One of the ways you know if it's either not been scalded long enough, or it's been scalded too long, is if it's been scalded too long, your knife will actually start pulling the skin off because the hair is cooked into the fat and the fat gets soft. Right now I'm just putting 2 loops around his legs so I can keep him from spinning on me. Helps a little bit. I really don't want to dunk them all the way back in there, because that means I'd have to go get Mrs. Flannel, and she's teaching the kids, and this is like our absolute least favorite part of the homestead thing, is having to take the life of the poor animals. We love having the bacon and the pork chops, but yeah, see, down here's coming off pretty good. It's probably good you guys see one that doesn't go right too, right? You can learn a lot from a bad teacher. I also wanted to live stream this with you guys because a lot of times you'll see a video, and I'm guilty of it. You click on the one that's like 3 minutes long, right? You click on the one that's quick and to the point, but then when you set about to try and go do that thing, you realize it takes an incredible amount of time. Well, if nothing else, even if people don't actually watch this video, they will get the idea of how much work is involved. Now, it is worth the work, but our culture is kind of descended into a microwave dinner type culture where we don't really want things to take a long time. We want them to be done and over with pretty quick. But I'm telling you, from personal experience, there is nothing like sitting down to a meal from your table, at your table, that is from your farm, your property, your own sweat and blood. There's something immensely satisfying about that. Let's get a torch. Let's see what happens. You don't want to torch it? Let's torch it. It wouldn't be a live stream if we didn't set something on fire. I think what we'll do is we'll torch it nice and lightly. Make sure you don't cook it. And we'll rub it down. See how many hairs are left. And do it again. I did do this with a pig head once just to see what it was like. And it worked out pretty well. Unfortunately, we don't have smell-o-vision. Because this has a scent. This seems to be working out pretty well. Oh yeah, I like this. What a surprise, I like fire. I think we'll just rinse them off when we're done. I like that a lot. Somebody said they're pretty glad for no smell-o-vision right now. It just smells like burning pig hair. Now this obviously wouldn't work if you planned on eating any part of the skin. You're just gonna cook burnt pig hair smell into it. But to be quite honest, it's working pretty well. This used to be one of the old school ways to do it. Was dried grass or dried straw in a field. I've heard of it. I haven't actually done it or seen it, so I don't know how that would work. I am fairly familiar with propane torches, however. Oh, look at that. Even the epidermis is coming off. That's fantastic. Growing as you grow, my friends. The thing I don't like about this is it uses propane. And not that I have any problem using propane, but if you don't have any propane, it makes it a bit trickier. I heat my scalder with wood. probably to your side. Alright, so he's got a lot of hair on him, so we're just going to do a light dusting. And then scrape that layer off before it has a chance to catch. You can see the hair kind of curls up. Let me get you close. So when the hair curls up, you scrape that off. Because that actually acts almost like an insulator against the foliage. So you scrape that off, and then go back and dust it again. And then you'll see the epidermis start coming off. You've gotten deep enough. This is way more fun. It's also cold today, so this is warming me up. Probably would also go a lot faster if I hadn't have soaked him first. His hair is very wet. A lot easier. We're just trying to shave them all together. So how's your Wednesday? Thursday, whatever day it is? Let's see. Battery life still good? All right. You guys see okay? Maybe a little further down. Raise him up a bit more. Never might work. You guys are funny. All right, let's get him a little higher. And I do like fire very much. My crew might be watching today. Probably not. They're not very supportive, the jerks. No. That's pretty good. Torch. I need an assistant to hand the torch to. Then a white still do TV? Now, when we butcher tomorrow, I have something like 4 separate stations that I butcher. And I have one table set aside for the half a pig to set down and break that up. And then I have another spot once it's broken down into quarters that I use, and I put the skin side down. Always skin side down on those breakdown areas. And then I have 2 more areas that I flip the meat over, and it's meat side down, and nary shall the 2 meet. So it helps us keep all of our meat clean. Even if this was perfect and we scalded it just right and every single hair fell out and the angels sang and rejoiced, I would still use separate stations. Just good practice. Note to self. Scald a little longer next time. See, I burned it last time, so it's stuck in. So this time I was gun shy and pulled it out too fast. Oh well. What's your scalding wound? Nancy asked if there are hairless pigs. Probably expensive, if there are. You'd be amazed at how much hair there is on one of these guys. Almost there. Ish. This is a lot more fun if you have more people. Multiple people can be working at a time, kind of make a day of it, a little community day. But schedules just didn't work out for a lot of the people that come out and help me out normally. And I couldn't miss the weather. Because tonight up here it's getting down to 27. And then tomorrow the high is like 48. Ideally, you don't want the pig to hang in anything warmer than 44 degrees if you can help it. So by the time I'm done this process today, the temperature probably will be close to its peak, but the pig will still be chilling itself because it still has its from being alive body temperature. But tonight it will get very cold. So we are going to start tomorrow morning pretty early, because I want to be butchering when it's below 44. Almost there. I'll mess with the head later. I want to get his guts out so he can start cooling. Yeah, Nancy asked if there was a way to remove the hide. That's essentially skinning, is what you do. And you can. Billy from Permapastures doesn't scald typically. What he does is he'll go out into his field, basically with his son. They'll pop one, they'll bring it back, and they'll skin it and gut it like right there in their yard. Or in the back of his pickup truck. And like I said, skinning it avoids all this, but the FDA considers hair fecal matter. So the more hair you can get off the pig, the cleaner your meat will be. Billy's a very talented fella, so I'm sure when he does his, he is very careful. I'm not that talented. Now, when a scald goes right, I would have been done by now. Like, probably with everything. Sometimes it doesn't. And you just have to do work. We're almost there. At least to where we can do something else. Almost there. Give me another 5 minutes or so. Like I said, prep work now makes tomorrow easier. Try not to burn down my barn while I'm doing this. You can also peel a pig like a banana, believe it or not. Justro from Metcalf has a way where you go around the ankle. You can't see. Hey, How to Garden, good to see you. You go around the ankle with a circle, and then you take a hook blade and you make strips. And then you pull the strips off the pig. That's another way to do it. I think this is probably, I don't know if I want to say the most difficult, more complicated way. But when it goes right, it goes really, really right. And if it doesn't go right, you could always skin it. What are you doing, Esther? Esther's here wondering, what in the world? What in the world? All right, last scrape, probably. And then we'll rinse it off, and we'll start the evisceration process.
worry about the head later.
All right, let's lower him down, turn this off. Where's my hose? Where's my hose? I know. I know. All right, let's bring him down. Right, reach him. Hey, Esther. Hi, Esther. All right. So this is the trickiest part of the whole deal. Somebody asked if you skin the pig, doesn't the hair go with it? Yes, it does. But what happens is, potentially. Oh, there you go. Crank it up. Gotta get you all tall for this. Thank you, tall. So tall. Sorry for the wobbliness. My camera operator's trash. When you're opening the pig, anywhere that hair touches has to be cut out. Now you can cut it out in very thin ways, but when you have open hair flapping around, any hair that falls anywhere has to be trimmed out. So this, at least for the most part, I mean, it doesn't look great. It's not the perfect pink. It's got some spots and stuff, but anything left on this pig isn't coming off. Like, it's not just going to fall off into our meat. So we should be good to go. So what we're going to do now is, this is a boy pig, so it's slightly more complicated. This is his pizzle. His urethra is in here, and it goes up in here and actually goes through the hip symphysis pubis area and ties into the rectus muscles that control your anus. His anus is back here. So what we're going to do is open this area, come right down here, go around the pizzle till we find the urethra, which has the urine in it, so we can tie it off. And then we're going to start cutting around the anus on the back, and then we're going to tie it off as well. And then we're eventually going to reach up inside through the hip bone, tie it off, and then pull it through. And hopefully we can pull it and the bladder out. And once we get that there, then we can go down the rest of the way and get the rest of the organs out. Sound like a plan? This is the trickiest part because if you poke a hole in the rectum, in the colon, in the intestines, in the bladder, in the urethra, you're pouring waste into your good meat. So we have to be very careful. Carefulness requires coffee. All right. Let's do it. When you're doing this, your knife work is very important. You have to be aware of where the point of your knife is at all times. Somebody's calling me from Georgia. You scammer. So I like a knife that has that beveled edge on it, and you actually use the belly of the knife for the cutting. Let's see if I can demonstrate that for you. So instead of poking in, you're just going to kind of draw it down. Nice and light. You see how it's starting to open a little bit? We're going nice, light pressure. We're not stabbing. We're hardly pushing. A very sharp knife is the key to success in this regard. Just keep opening it up. Actually, I'm going to spray my hands off real quick. Now after that, we'll get them perfectly clean. I got some soap in here too. Let's soap it up. Soap, soap, soap. We might be in a barn, but we ain't savages. Yeah, my hose is outside. Good Times Homestead, but Jen asked if we had water. All right, so I'm gonna back you back out so you can kind of see the whole deal. And like I said, if this was a lady pig, all of her stuff would be on the back side, so you can work from there. Because this is a boy pig, let's do a couple more steps. So I just cut right around. There. All right, so you see right here? Let's get you close. You can see it's right here. Do you see this? Okay, see how it goes right up through there? That's the urethra. That's the part we want to be most especially careful with. So we cut a hole, we put our finger behind it. We just cut off to the side. We try and isolate it as best we can. Okay. As long as I have my fingers here. I am between it and my knife blade. So we've got it. That's it. You see this tube? That will ruin your day. Okay, so now we know where that is. We know it's going right through there. Elijah's Farmstead Journey says, I applaud you for doing this yourself. I've always had help. Well, I tell you, to be perfectly honest, it's a lot more fun to have help. I enjoy the company. And I think it's something that we have lost as a community, as a people, getting together to do this type of thing. So, you guys being here with me keeps me company. So in a way, I'm not doing it by myself, but you guys are here. Yay! And I appreciate it. So I have several other knives in here. I have some old hickories and some different types. These are just my less whatever knives. And I also have a draw-through sharpener that I tend to keep with me for the cheaper blades. So this is the part that takes a lot of finesse, if you will. So you want to cut around the rectum, but you have to be careful because you do have to actually poke your knife in. So you want to kind of aim, instead of straight down, you want to keep your knife almost at an angle like that to keep everything away from poking through Mr. Piggy's waist areas. You do not want that. Pigs also are very, very fat. So there's a lot to cut through. Okay, so we have cut around the rectum, and it will kind of pucker down in there because all the weight is pulling down. Okay. So we cut the sides. And if you can, try and keep your finger between. So we're going to open up right here a little more. Okay, back around to the front. Now that we know where this is going, get down to the hip bone, which is right here. See the pizzle right there, or the urethra? Just goes right there, so you have to be very careful. So now we're going to actually open the cavity. This is again where you want to use the belly of your knife, because what we need to do is get inside and start working the back side of the anus, the rectum and all that. Don't be afraid to use your hands. Hands rarely break anything or cut through anything you're not supposed to cut through. All right, so you see we've opened the cavity, okay? So the hip bone, symphysis pubis, is right here. We have to work our way back up through here to get to the rectum. Open that up a little bit. So here is your bladder. You want to be very careful with that, because if you spill pig pee in here, well, all bets are off. So you see that going there. And you can see here's the one side of the hip. Can you see? Maybe not here. This is hip muscle here. So if we stay to this side and we cut along it, we're not going to hit anything vital because we've got the urethra pushed off to the side. Okay. There's the symphysis pubis. We've cut through the tendons here. So that's bone right there. So we're going to come around back to the backside. Keep working this. Oh, hey, look, it zooms in. How about that? There are tendons and all kinds of stuff in here that are very hard, so you cannot just like work through it with your hands. But once you start to get in here, you'll feel where things are and what can be kind of pulled apart and what needs to be cut. Don't rush it, because once you've cut it, you can't uncut it. So I've got a good part down the bottom cut. So now what I try and do is, this is the anus right here. You try and make a hole around the tube as best you can without cutting anything vital. And then you tie it. And that's what we're aiming to do. Because then you can tie it closed and hopefully nothing comes popping out. All right, we should be able to tie that. So I haven't cut right here, but I can fit my finger around it. Let's zoom in. Might be too close. So this is a very close up of a pig poo, but you see my fingers all the way through it? That means I can tie this off and we can work from there. Ah, too close. Zoom out. There we go. All right. My string is right here. Just going to run a piece of string through it. we're not out of the woods yet. This is a huge step because now that is tied closed and you can kind of start working your way around it. Nice and easy. Make sure you can put eyes on what you're cutting before you cut it. And make sure you know where the tip of that knife is at all times. Okay. And now really, you just kind of keep working your hand in there and pulling stuff apart so that you can stuff this through and pull it out the other side. Nice thing about having a nice long tail on your rope is you can work with it as you're doing stuff. You can reach in there and pull it out. All right, we're pretty loose there. Let's go around to the front, see what we can get done. Ooh, 36% battery. I better hurry up. Okay. We got to get this guy free. So what I like to do with this is do kind of something similar. It's hard to work with the whole thing like this. So I'll tie it off. Hold it outside the body. Let that go. Okay. Now we have something to work with. So we can start kind of tracing it back through here. I'll still see okay. There's viscera in here that holds everything together. You can work through that with your hands. Now you see down there is the rectum or the colon or whatever. If you think doing this by yourself is hard, try doing this and filming it. Trying to be a good cameraman. So you just keep reaching up and pulling it. Be careful you don't pull too hard, because if you pull too hard, you can tear the rectum, and we don't want to do that. So you see here, look at that. That is its bum hole that we have pulled through the other side. So we've got that. Now we just got to get the urethra through, which is looped up in here. Come on. This does not stink, surprisingly. If you do this right and don't tear any of the waste products. And you have removed the majority of the hair and stuff. It really doesn't look or smell bad. It might look terrible, but it's not bad. We have almost got this guy. I gotta cut along there. This is the part where you can start getting tired. Mistakes can happen. Just be patient. Don't rush it. Just get it done. Nice and easy. Nice and easy. So we gotta get the bladder out here in just a second. For those of you just joining us, welcome to our program. Already in progress. Come on. So this runs right along the back side of the bone here. So you can see going to the bladder, right? We just haven't quite gotten it free yet from the back side, from all the tendons and stuff that hold the urethra in place. And I can feel them. Just trying not to break the wrong thing. All right, let's cut right here. Good. Oh, that might have done it. That might have done it. Aha! Look at that. Here we go. Here we go. Come on. Let go. Yeah. All right. Okay. All right. Most of the hard part, believe it or not, is over. So the bladder and stuff is right here. Okay, we have the rectum outside the body. So now what we're going to do is gently open up the rest of the cavity. I'm going to back you up. Let me put you off to the side here. Okay. We're going to raise him up a little bit first. Back up the ladder we go. Woo-wee! That's always a hair-raising part there. All y'all. Because any part of that, if you mess it up, you have contaminated your pig. It happens. Okay, don't let it discourage you. But it's better if it doesn't. All right. So we're going to open up the cavity a little more. Good Times Homestead says, I can't believe I'm watching this, but I feel like I need to in order to eat bacon again. I think it's important to know where our food comes from, as I know you guys do as well. Bev's asked if it's hard for the ground. Typically what I do is I pile wood chips or straw down here. And Wendy, you're right. Wendy says the hardest part is the kill. Emotionally speaking, yes, that's true. But this is the part that always raises my hackles. Because if you mess it up, now there is some juice inside the body. That's okay. That's not pee or anything like that. That's just the stuff inside that lubricates the organs between the viscera and the pleural spaces. Okay, that's okay. Keep your fingers back here inside the body cavity and make like a V shape between your fingers and push the organs back and then cut between the V. You want to get this low as possible. There's kind of a space where you'll feel stuff just kind of starting to let go. There's intestines everywhere here. This is why we leave the pig alone for 24 hours, kind of let them empty this stuff out. But as you can see, it doesn't all come out. But if you don't have all this in the way, that's good. All right, so now we need to get, this is the bladder, we need to get it out. And all of the organs and everything are hanging inside the body from a, like viscera from the spine. If this was the spine, let's do it this way. If this is the spine of the animal, all the organs are kind of hanging from some viscera. So we need to get that viscera loose. So do you see this right here? This is what I'm talking about. This is the viscera. So here's the bladder. We want that joker out of there like right now. But you don't want to yank on it. You want to come back here. See all this viscera in here? And just kind of work your way through it. Nice and easy. No big movements. Use the belly of the knife. Okay? Like this. So now the bladder is on the outside of the body as well. The colon is on the outside of the body. And you just kind of keep working it like this. Nice and easy. No rush. No fuss. No muss. And you will know at this point if you have hit something because it will smell to high heaven. So far, we are good. Okay. These are the kidneys. So now we're going to reach in. Hey, Carolyn. We're going to reach in, okay, and just kind of help this stuff out of the piggy. I have a 5-gallon bucket somewhere here. I'm just going to reach in, keep working this viscera. You still don't want to poke a hole in anything, right? The stomach has acids in it and stuff like that. So we just kind of work our way through. Nice and easy. Here's the stomach. And I left this guy alone for 24 hours. And his stomach is... Our clip release. Don't pop, don't pop, don't pop, don't pop. Our clip is released. You know what? We're going to leave it there. Because we have got it all out, and I'm afraid if I pick it up, it's going to fall. We're gonna make do. The accidental part. See it? All right. We're just going to slide it out then. I hope. Come on. Come on. There we go. All right. All right. We managed to do it without anything popping. Now we're gonna go raise it up. Holy cow. That was unexpected. Woo! Oh my goodness. Maybe I should be asking you guys for super chats for better equipment. All right, so did we get the kidneys out? We did. Kidneys don't always come out at the same time, but that's okay. So we got a pile of guts down here. Whew. Bye, Elijah. Have a good day. Thanks for being here. There's a pile of guts. We'll get to that in a minute. 26, all right. Holy cow. Never a dull moment. Never a dull moment. Oh, let me show you this stick. I'm gonna pop you off this real quick. I think. Come free, little one. Maybe. All right, we'll just do this. Okay, come here. I want you guys to see where we stuck, okay? Do you see right there, that hole? That's the sternal notch. The sternum's right here, okay? So you take your knife and you go almost straight up and back at something like a 45-degree angle. Okay, you want a long knife and you want to go till you feel you hit the spine. A lot of blood will come out if you've done it right. Don't be afraid when you go up in there to wiggle it around, twist it, and then pull it out, okay? That's the heart area. So we still have the lungs and heart in there. Does not matter quite as much now. You can kind of just go to town on cutting. So we have the diaphragm in here. I'm going to get my sternoseparatum, which is known as a hatchet in my case. You waiting for your parts, Esther? Okay. The rest of the blood should come out now. You have the diaphragm in here, which we can go ahead and pull out. Okay, we got lungs, heart. Oh, pig got dirty when he fell in the ground. Let's fix it. Like that. Hey, watch out, Lester. And take the head off too while we're at it. Thank you, Arden. I appreciate it. Arden sent a super chat. If you're just joining us, I don't normally ask for money, but we are way away from our Wi-Fi abilities, and the good microphone only works with my wife's cell phone, and my wife has a very low data plan, so I actually had to like change the plan and buy some data. So your contributions, you want this, Esther? Here you go. Here you go. Okay. Hold on. Your contributions today help us fund that for today and tomorrow. I don't need to buy any more for tomorrow. I have enough. But we had to increase the plan. All right. So you can see, this is the pig heart, okay? Right here. Right up here, that's the aortic arch. And that's where we cut with the knife. Okay? I am. My brother says I need the data because I'm cheap. You're not wrong. You are not wrong. We do our best to get by on as little as possible. All right, time to rinse off. Take the head. Don't eat too much. Taking the head is pretty simple. Big long knife, couple of circles. My brother says it's a terrible shame to see me in this giant shop with no data. It is a beautiful shop, but it came with the property. It's not like I built it. They already use like the cheapest data plan in the world. Old Bear asked if I had Venmo or Cash App. No, I guess is the short answer. Actually, I might have Venmo. I don't know. I had PayPal, but then PayPal got evil, so I quit using them. So the pig, you go basically for the head just behind the ears and kind of make a circle. There is a lot of really, really good meat in the head. Okay? I am not a head cheese kind of guy. But there's jowl bacon, the cheeks, all kinds of good stuff in here. Okay, if you do it right and hit the right place, you'll get it at what's known as the atlas vertebrae, right here. And you can work it right around. We will take care of this head later. You see in here? That's all jowl bacon. Very, very, very good bacon comes out of there. Okay. Now you can rinse blood out of a carcass. You can't really rinse poop and pee out of a carcass. It just ends up spreading it around. finish our cuts down here. A little bit more with the hatchet. All right, we're open for busyness. Trachea is out. If you know anybody that needs to go to innovation school, you can use those. All right, let's do a rinse. All right, now we're gonna have them. Wendy's youngest. Just said it was lunchtime. And this doesn't bother her at all, that's awesome. All right, a couple more steps and we're done for today. We can prep for tomorrow. We're gonna go right down the spine. Don't choke on it, pretty girl. Don't choke on it, pretty girl. Here. Esther loves Butcher Day. All right, the spine is under like 3 or 4 inches of fat. So you come around the backside and you just kind of trace it down with your knife like this. And you'll feel when you hit the spine with your knife. Now, there's a couple ways to do this. If you don't have power, you can use a butcher saw like this. Looks like a massive hacksaw. And you can spend half an hour whacking your way through it. Or you can do like I do and have a very specific, super wonderful, magical tool for it called a Sawzall blade. This is the only thing I use this Sawzall blade for. It then gets cleaned and returned to the butchering area. All right. And you follow the line that you made. Oh yeah, I forgot. We gotta pop that symphysis pubis right here. There we go. 2 halves of a pig. Thank you, Old Bear. Old Bear sent $20 to help pay for our data. So it looks like somehow some blood got into here. I'm going to try and rinse that out. You don't want blood in your meat. You do not want blood in your meat. It will smell terrible and rancid if you leave blood in your meat. Now, I don't know if it's the iron content or what, but I do my best to get as much out today as possible. And then tomorrow, I'll show you what we do with the rest. Now you cannot rinse it like this if you've had urine or poop hit it, because all the water will do is spread it everywhere. You have to cut out everywhere that urine and poop went. All right. So let me show you the inside of this lovely, lovely carcass. I'm so excited, guys. This came out very well. Old Bear, I have, to be perfectly honest with you, my wife and I have Mint Mobile, and technically my phone has unlimited data, but what it means is I have 35 gigabytes of high-speed data, and then I have unlimited at whatever speed they want to give me. My wife has like 4 gigs of data on her phone because she tends to stay home more, so she uses our Wi-Fi. But Livestream only works with our quality microphone on her phone, and it uses up a boatload of data. So I upped our plan on her phone this morning so that we'd be able to do this for the next couple of days. But look at this meat, guys. Look at this beautiful meat. Actually, I'm gonna turn the camera around so I can see what you see. What? Do you see what I see? A child. Anyways, look at that. So your bacon is in here, underneath that. This is called leaf fat. We'll peel that off. That makes good lard. If you've done a good job, then you get to keep this and render it down. Your pork chops and such are back here. Obviously, your ribs are here. And then back fat right there. This here. Up in there is your tenderloin. Your Boston butt actually comes from the shoulder. Oh, this guy looks so good. He looks really good. All right. Now, I'm going to scroll back through some of the comments. Sure that I didn't miss any. Do you guys have any questions for me? Make sure I have enough time left. We got 15% battery, so we have a few minutes. I'm going to scroll through your comments real quick. Whew. Mordecai says you might be able to bump it up to a terabyte. Mine, the only option I have is a maximum of 35 a month. Sit on the tractor for a minute. All right. Misty Mountain Mist says, well, this live stream was a good recommendation by the algorithm. Not every day run across a pig butchering. Howdy can't stay long, but you have a new subscriber. Well, welcome, Misty. To be honest, I wasn't sure what was going to happen. I wasn't sure if I was going to lose people over it, gain people. You just don't know. But I'm glad you're here. Like I said, once this gets finished, I will do my best to add chapters to this so you guys can see what, where, when, and how. Skip to the parts you find interesting. I hope at some point to do this with an actual camera person to help me out so I'm not moving everything myself. But like I said, my kids are doing school. It's just the way it goes. That's the way homesteading is. We try and show you guys the honest side as much as possible. I'd love to have a crew and things like that, but until we end up with, 400,000 or 500,000 subscribers, there's no crew happening. Bliss said unlimited data with T-Mobile and Straight Talk. T-Mobile's kind of evil. Douglas says new to the channel. Welcome, Douglas. How long will this last you and your family, would you estimate? So we have changed the way we've been eating lately, in part to compensate for the rising food prices. We have reduced our meat portion sizes and stuff like that. But a pig this size, I'm guessing about 250, 260 before we butchered him. We're probably going to end up with close to 100 pounds of meat. We're a family of 5. And we have changed now because we are doing pigs to eating a lot of pork. So probably 4 months, 3.5, 4 months is how long it lasts. Yeah, I did not realize how good ground pork was until we started making our own. I wasn't a big, I can't remember the last time we bought store ground pork, like ever, even before we got into this lifestyle. It just wasn't a thing. But yeah, we use ground pork for everything you would use ground beef for. So, Old Bear says, I missed if you gave the pig weight. I'm estimating about 250 to 260 live weight. We will find out exactly how much tomorrow when I take the half down. What I like to do is take the half down and stand on a scale and then subtract my body weight from it. But I'm guessing each one of those sides is probably 100 pounds. The one we did last month was 85 pounds a side. So we're a month into it, and they gain about a pound a month the way we're feeding them. Or I'm sorry, they gain about a pound a day the way we're feeding them. So he should be 30 pounds heavier. But you still have bones in there and stuff that you take out. So it reduces down to usable weight actually pretty quickly. That's one of the reasons why I butcher the head and take the jowl meat out and stuff like that. Is there's probably 5 to 8 pounds worth of usable meat and fat in the head. We also render down the extra fat and lard, turn it into lard and use it for baking and use it for cooking and frying and stuff like that. Very, very good. So now I got to take the innards and separate out the stuff we're going to feed to Esther. And a pound a month is a scrawny pig. Well, thank you, Douglas. I appreciate it. Wendy says, are you just picking the biggest at a time to butcher? Yes. Are there health concerns with eating large amounts of pork versus, I missed it. Let me get my other device. And if I disappear all of a sudden, we're down to 11%, so I'm sorry. Samson, hey, buddy, says, are there health concerns about eating large amounts of pork versus ground beef or chicken? Not that I've followed this concern. No, none at all. When it comes to pork that you've raised yourself, I think there should be concerns with eating factory produced anything in large quantities. Whether it's pork, beef, chicken, I don't think it matters. I mean, the soybeans and stuff they're putting in things, it's just sketchy. So no, I don't have any concerns about it at all. Are you just picking the biggest one at a time to butcher, says Wendy? Essentially, yes. We try and wait till they hit at least 250. But we had 8 pigs and our feed bill was getting pretty high. 2 of the pigs we're keeping to breed. That's a new thing that we're trying. So we just harvested one about a month ago. He was slightly underweight by like 10 pounds. I mean, it wasn't a big deal. So this guy should be right at perfect butchering weight. Now, in theory, yeah, Sean says you had 8 pigs, then you ate pigs. As a homesteader, if you're only doing 1 or 2 pigs a year, you probably want to get them up closer to 300 pounds. It makes them a little harder to handle, but you get more fat and more meat out of them depending on what type they are. If you're doing them for market, like 240 to 260 is ideal weight because of the caloric intake versus the amount of food you get back. But again, if you're just doing 1 or 2 for yourself, probably closer to 300 pounds would be a better weight. Old Bear asks, what inch do you cut your chops? It depends, honestly. Sometimes when we do the bone in, they're 3/4 of an inch, give or take. When we do boneless, I tend to cut them a little thinner, so we don't do it. We try not to use it up as quickly. So, yeah, I think that's it. I got some cleanup and stuff to do. So I'm going to go ahead and go. It's also lunchtime, so I'm probably going to go inside and have a ham sandwich. Actually, I have no idea what I'm going to have for lunch, whatever Mrs. Flannel's made. So I appreciate you guys being here today. We're going to do the butchering part tomorrow. There's a book that I recommend that I don't have with me that I can't think of off the top of my head, but the pages are actually like laminated, so you can have it out here while we're butchering. I will bring that out tomorrow and show you what I have. Good Time says, sorry, missed 20 minutes, had to chase a hawk away from the chickens and guineas. It was landing on the coop. Yikes, don't do that. Shoo, hawk, shoo. But yes, tomorrow, probably early. I'm hoping to get out here at 7, maybe 7:30 while it's still nice and cold and get cranking. So we'll start whenever in the morning. And we'll probably just show the one side. It doesn't make sense to show both sides because it's pretty much the same thing, just again. And yeah, Old Bear says grocery store eggs and chickens taste weird. Now, they do. They do. So anyhow, thanks for growing with me as we grow. God bless you guys. Hope you have a great day. Hope you enjoyed it. And we will see you tomorrow on our pig butchering part 2.